safety of Sacramento in light of, unfortunately, what happened over this past weekend. Community activist Barry Axius with us, giving us his take on not just what happened, but the best way to potentially move forward. And Barry, during the commercial break that we took, I told you that I wanted to talk about something specific, and we heard one of the relatives of one of the victims speaking, and one of the words that she kept throwing out was the word hope. Was the concept that she felt like one of the big issues here was that she was seeing young people at a very young age lose hope. And then when she felt like they lost hope, they started looking at different avenues to take their emotions and to take their actions. And so how does the whole concept, and I know I've said it a million times, but the word hope, hopelessness, how does that play into the process from talking with young kids all the way down to 8 years old who are looking out their window and seeing crazy stuff going, all the way up to the point where, you know, they decide that the best course of action is to take things in a violent direction, whether it be with a gun or with anything else?
That's real. Just you got to really look at it from a scope of, I feel hope always has to start in the household. And I think that sometimes when we look at these things, we gloss over one big thing, that's accountability. We don't really look at the dynamics of what's happening in the home. We as parents have to be that bridge of hope for our young people. But unfortunately, society beats down some parents so hard and so well that they become hopeless, and that hopelessness falls into their children. And when they see outside there's no opportunities, and that's what we have to keep on saying.
There are parts of society that are designed to do that, to pound you to the point where you feel like...
But at the same particular time, this is such a critical part that I have as a parent. I've gone through these difficult times with my daughter. And then myself being a mentor, getting another child and raising other kids, watching the dynamics, a lot of the situations start happening in the household before it even goes outside to the streets. And if we as members of society, if we as members of the community don't start looking at the household and bring hope into the household, hope into those parents, we're going to lose more and more kids. Because if a child is looking at their parent hopelessly, looking outside hopelessly, what do you think they're going to do? So you think about the generations of curses that get passed down to child to child to child. Eventually they become adults that have children, and the cycle of madness continues. And this is what you are seeing. A lot of the young people that I know, they develop these ideas of going into a gang because of what? They want to feel hopeful.
There's a sense of belonging.
A sense of belonging. A sense of...
Everybody wants to be accepted,
I have a
whether
voice.
you like it or not. When
100%.
people say, oh, I don't care what someone says about me, you're lying. You care. It
because
hurts you.
every gangster, what I do know, they cry and they hurt when they see one of their friends. It doesn't even matter if their friend was the one doing the shooting or their friend did something wrong. To see that demise, they feel. But the problem is, can we get them to think before doing something as crazy as what we just saw Sunday morning? Can we get them to realize that you're a baby that's about to hurt someone else's baby? And what we can't continue to do is think that we are going to allow these people to be able to find a gun before they find an opportunity in our communities. And that's on us. And if we don't look at this moment as being a moment of reflection, of healing and moving forward, and stop with the agendas about this and that, and not saying things to make us happy in the moment, and then when we're at the bargaining table, next thing you know, whoa, do we say that we don't have enough money? We have to start challenging our public officials. We have to start challenging our law enforcement. We have to start challenging our community to be accountable to what is happening in our city. We've often said that what our city looks like will be an exact replica of everything going around in this country. And here we are. We've told the city over and over again, these poverty-stricken communities that you refuse to invest in, what do you think these people are going to eventually do? You think they're going to stay over here? Ain't nothing here. They're going to go where there is investment. I said there one time during the Stephon Clark situation, I said there to the mayor, I said, I come down here and I look at a striving community in downtown. I go to my other communities that we work in, I don't see that kind of effort. I don't see that kind of support. I don't see that kind of opportunity. What do you think is eventually going to happen to your community when these folks get done feeling sorry for themselves and say, I'm going to travel yonder? And this is the end result of something.
Well, unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Community activist Barry Axius, always enjoy talking to you.
I was about to get it started right here. Come on, give us more time.
Here's the thing. Come back, please, anytime.
Yeah, I'm on some more positive things.
Yeah.
But we are doing a march this Sunday.
Okay.
We are going to do a march in memory of what happened on Sunday. We're asking the community to come out. We cannot be in this moment of fear. We need to be in this moment of togetherness and unify. And we are going to march down those streets to the Capitol, and we're going to speak loud and speak clear that we want to end gun violence in our community.
And you said community. That means all of us.
All of us. A real all together.
Every
Yes.
single community, not just
You,
Del Paso
no,
Heights, not just Oak Park,
every
East
community.
Sacramento,
The
Natomas.
whole
Everybody
thing.
has to be involved.
All together.
Barry Axius, thank you.